Big waves in the building, man. Y'all already know what time it is. Here to bring y'all that real, uncut, unfiltered Carolina Panthers talk, man. This is Carolina Panthers Real Talk, episode 5. Carolina Panthers Real Talk, episode 5. We live, we lit, we here, we in. We trying to get rich or something like this. Man, appreciate all of the love and support, man. Make sure y'all like and subscribe to the channel. Y'all, the road to 100. We're almost there. I appreciate everybody, the new subscribers, the old subscribers, for liking the content. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. A lot of stuff to talk about from this loss, this Carolina Panther loss. We're 0-2. Guys, I don't know what else to say. I really don't know what else to say about this football team. I think I've said it all, but we're going to dive into it. First, got to give a special shout out to our sponsor, BUSR. Betting 100% bonus on first deposits up to 1,000 plus 25 casino chips at any amount deposited to new users' accounts upon sign up will be equal up to 1,000 and use promo code SPORTS100FP. Again, that's BUSR. Y'all make sure to go on there and bet. If you think the Panthers are going to turn it around in week 3, you think your favorite player is going to throw for 400 or 500 yards, maybe your favorite running back rushes for 1,000 this season, go and bet with BUSR. Now that all the politics and stuff are out the way, it's time to dive into this. But before I do that, I want to put a disclaimer out here because, as you guys know, I'm a part of an affiliate podcast with Panthers Uncensored, Keep Pounding TV, all of my guys on that _2020, also Black Panther Podcast. Shout out to my boy Big Q, Classic Man TV, I Am Nate TV, and as well, your Big Cat, right? So on these shows, I get a lot of flack, right? And I never take it personal. I never get upset or I get mad about that. And I think it's important that I make that very clear. This is all for content. I stand 100% on my outlooks, my opinions, my thought about the Carolina Panthers. Anybody that is questioning my loyalty to this football team, I would have you know that I was born and raised in Charlotte, North Carolina, been a fan of this team from the very beginning, went to the very first Panthers game at Clemson Stadium when I was only about 5 years old. This team has been a staple, not just in my life, but in my family's life as well. I breathe this, I bleed this. I'm Carolina Panther till I die, right? And I'm not on here trying to convince anybody or even try to persuade anybody of that decision. Yes, I talk a lot of negative things about the Carolina Panthers because all I've seen is negativity, especially over the last 4 years, right? That doesn't mean I'm going to switch teams. That doesn't mean that I'm going to go to another team or start rooting for somebody else's success. No, I'm going to stay right here in my chair talking Carolina Panthers football with you guys. Now, you don't have to approve with my outlooks or my opinions, and neither do I expect you to, or neither do I care if you do or don't. But at the end of the day, I have every right to talk about my football team, the one that I love, the one that I support, the one that I'll be getting a tattoo on me of the Carolina Panthers logo. This is my city, this is my team, and again, I will begin to start talking positivity about this football team when I start seeing some positive things. I am a fan that has sat here through a lot of miserable seasons with this organization. I have grown, it's sad to say, but I've grown accustomed to the mediocrity. So now when these bad things happen in the football game, it's almost expected, right? I'm going to talk today on this show about what we need to do to get this on track. But I feel like I just had to lay that disclaimer out there for all of the fans that's watching. There's no doubt in my mind that I'm a Carolina Panthers fan, or it should be no doubt in anybody's mind. I'm just sick of the shit, right? But anyway, let's get into it. Carolina Panthers lose second game of the season against the New York Football Giants, 19-16 at MetLife Stadium yesterday. First analysis of this game. The offense, and I'm going to start right here. Better yet, let me back it up a little bit. Opening kickoff, we fumbled the ball on the opening kickoff of the game, Chuba Hubbard. Not really sure why Chuba Hubbard was back there receiving kicks, but he was, and he fumbled the ball, right? So they get the ball. We hold them to 3 points. The defense does a great job of holding this team to 3 points, keeping them out of the box, which is amazing. Right, that's a great stand. That's exactly how you have to handle that. Still doesn't feel good, especially coming off a bad loss last week to the Cleveland Browns. On your very first kickoff, we fumble the ball. All right, moving on to the first drive. Defense makes a stop. Offense gets the ball back. We're driving down the field. Pass to Roby Anderson. Guess what? He fumbles balls. He fumbles the ball. He dropped it again. So that is 2 turnovers within the first 5 minutes of the football game. So I want to be something very clear. This defense stood and did their job like they were supposed to, right? They held that team to 2 field goals off of 2 turnovers within the first 5 minutes of the game. Against a better football team, we would have been down 14-0, right? And listen, no disrespect to the New York Giants fans out there. The New York Giants are not a good football team. They didn't score a touchdown the whole first half. We held them to 6 points or less all the way into the third quarter. There is no reason why we shouldn't have been able to come out on the offensive side of the ball and put points up. I just don't understand. It's the same things that's been happening under this Matt Rule regime. The defense will come and play well, and the offense gets on the field, and they're stagnant. They can't do it. Christian McCaffrey had a better game. He had more touches. I expected him to bounce back. Overall, Baker Mayfield didn't play well to me. I think that he was really inaccurate on a lot of throws that he made. I feel like his feet in the pocket, he was never uncomfortable, and that's not all on him. Shot Smith played a terrible game. He played terrible. He dropped a go-ahead touchdown, and I believe that it was in the second quarter, that touchdown that he dropped on that crossing route. Doesn't help his chances. I think that he's losing the grip on that third wide receiver spot, not understanding why the wide receiver that we brought in from Cleveland is not getting more burn, especially with his previous connection with Baker Mayfield. Not really sure what's going on there. Not really sure why Chenault is still being inactive through the first 2 games. I mean, at this point, we need all that we can get, right? DJ Moore has a bounce back game. He has a touchdown in this actual game. Kind of love what I see. Just starting off with some positives. Baker did make, I want to say, maybe about a handful, and that's probably 2 or 3 good throws that we can go off. But this offensive line is still bad. This offensive line is still allowing pressure to get to the quarterback. And this was a team, guys, that didn't even have their 2 starting defensive ends, right? Ikwanu is not ready to be a starting left tackle in this NFL. I completely stand on that. They're kind of throwing him in to let him do trail by fire. I don't think that that's the correct approach to take with Ikwanu. I think you put Brady Christensen out there, the more experienced player, to give us a better chance than what that. I'm not saying that he's going to fare overly well than what Ikwanu has up to this point, but I just don't think Ikwanu is ready to be a starting left tackle. I think that he needs to sit, get more experience, really work on his pass protection techniques, because he was out there getting beat by a second or third string defensive end, right? Granted, it was an improvement from what we saw the week before, but overall, the offense still was very stagnant. I don't like the play calling. I don't like Ben McAdoo's game plan to approach and attack defenses, especially a defense that was as bad as this one. I think that you have to take shots early. I think that you have to make it known that we're a better football team than them, and you have to get in the end zone. We got down to the red zone about 3 times and only came away with 3 points. This team beat us by kicking 4 field goals. I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. Is it time to accept that the Carolina Panthers are not a good football team? Listen, guys, we're not. Yeah, I don't care how you want to dress it up. Baker Mayfield is not the guy. If anybody that has came into this season saying that, hey, Baker's going to be the answer, he's going to be the person that takes us to the next level, he hasn't shown that. You can talk about his grittiness. You can talk about his toughness, his ability to fight back. It's got us to an 0-2 start, right? I really think. But on a lighter note, the defensive run game played a lot better. I think we held Saquon Barkley and we kept him bottled up majority of the game. Like I said, again, I was really happy with what I saw on the defensive side of the ball. They pretty much played well all game long, right? But again, this defense just cannot make the plays when it needed to make the plays. Late in the game on that Giants final drive where they drive down to kick the game-winning field goal. I mean, come on, man. They let Daniel Jones go down here to hit a lot of wide open wide receivers. They were moving the ball effortlessly on that last drive. Again, this defense is a good defense, but because of the lack of inconsistency on offense, they're on the field a ton, right? We did get good pressure on this game. Brian Burns had 2 sacks, but that's what I expected against a bad New York Giants offensive line and a bad New York Giants offense. But this defense just cannot make the plays when they need to make the plays. I think that if the defense were able to slow Daniel Jones down on that drive and give us a chance to get the ball back with more time, I think Baker can drive down, at least get us in field goal range to have a chance to walk away from that game 1-1. The secondary played well. I think that, J.C. Horn is still adjusting to the game. I'm not going to be so hard on him. We have to remember, he only played 3 games last year before he got hurt. So technically, this is his 5th game as an NFL cornerback. Now, granted, he didn't give up. Statistically, he had a great day, right? But it's one play that I go back to where Sterling Shepard beat him on the first move on the line, and he was wide open. Daniel Jones just overthrew the ball to Sterling Shepard. I feel like a better throw there, that would have been a touchdown. And I go back to that, even though statistically the numbers for J.C. Horn look pretty good when targeted over the last 2 weeks. But if you go down and break the film, we've played 2 bad quarterbacks over the last 2 weeks. I think a better quarterback that's capable of getting those wide receivers the ball, I think J.C. Horn probably would have allowed about 2 to 3 touchdowns over the last 2 weeks. And again, this is not no discredit to his game. I think that he's going to be a great corner for right now, but he's still learning, still trying to get back into the field of the game and, and continue to grow as a football player. The defensive line, I think that the defensive line overall played better, but again, this was to inferior competition. I really did. And even still, I don't like the production coming from the defensive ends on the opposite side of Brian Burns. I think that they have to give us more than what they're giving us. Derrick Brown had some big tackles for a loss in this game. That's pretty good. But again, he's still not giving us the kind of production that justifies his draft status. I just don't think that he does it, man. Shaq Thompson, again, was a non-factor in this game. Didn't make any plays at all. Don't understand why he's even on the football team. It's just overall, this team from top to bottom, from coaching to players, even from game management. Again, we lose the time of possession in this game. It's not a good football team. It's the culture. You can see a lot of the problems with this team is on the coaching and the culture, right? And Matt Rule keeps talking about, man, we're this close. We're almost there. I can feel it turning the corner. Guys, to talk to you guys about some statistics that we read about, guys, we've lost 9 games in a row. 9 in a row. That's the current longest losing streak in the NFL. The current longest losing streak in the NFL. And I think that anytime a team scores 17 more points against us under Matt Rule's regime, we are 11-25 in those games. Think about that. We've only won 11 games where a team scores 17 points or more. That's terrible. We haven't won a home game in over a calendar year. We all know the probabilities. They said out of the last 18 teams since 2020 that started the season 0-2, none of them have made the playoffs. None of them have. So, guys, I mean, I know I'm hard on this football team, maybe harder than what I should be at times, guys, but it cannot bode well. It really cannot bode well, guys, for the rest of the season. I personally think, guys, this season is over. I do not see this football team getting any better. I think that it's time to go ahead and blow this thing up. Yes, realistically, the season is not over, right? There's 15 games left. Anything can happen. We could turn this thing around and go undefeated, right? But I also could go to the store right now and buy a lottery ticket and be a millionaire the next time that I talk to you guys. Anything can happen, right? But I don't see this football team getting better. I see this team, and this is the thing. These were two games that we had to win, right? And say what you want about Sam Darnold, guys. You can say all day about him being a bad quarterback, and I don't think that he is a good quarterback, but at least Sam Darnold started the season 3-0 last year. That's a moral victory, right? But at least he started 3-0. Guys, I don't know. You guys tell me what your thoughts are, man. Make sure to put that in the comments. How do y'all feel? What should we do? And I'm going to make this last point before we go out and talk about what do we need to do to get better, guys. Honestly, I think a loss next week to the Saints, guys. I think that seals Matt Rule's future as the head coach of this football team. I think that he will get fired with a loss next week to the Saints. And I also think, man, that that ends a lot of careers for people in the Carolina Panther uniform. I think that you have to go 100% into a complete rebuild at this point. I don't think that, trying to salvage the season does anything at that point. Starting the season 0-3 pretty much rectifies that this season is not going to improve. We haven't even got to the difficult games on the schedule. You think right after that, guys, after we play the Saints, we have a Cardinals team, we have a Rams team, a 49ers team coming up. Yeah, Trey Lance got hurt, but Jimmy Garoppolo is back, which is probably a positive for them. I just don't see this team getting better. I predicted 7 or 8 wins. We probably going to get less than that. I just don't think that this team is going to get better at all, right, as we go forward. So I think you blow everything up. I think you set this thing to fire, let it burn down, and you start all over. You bring in a new coach, you draft a quarterback, you trade away pieces to try to get as many draft picks as you can, and you build this thing over the right way. You build a winning culture from the ground up. You get a quarterback, you put the pieces around him, you protect him, then you start making adjustments where you need to make. But more than anything, the culture in Carolina has to change before we start seeing winning. Until the culture change, we're going to continue this mediocrity. I hate to be so transparent because I absolutely love this team. I don't want anything more but for us to win, right? But I just don't think that we're in a position to do so. Y'all tell me y'all thoughts. Big waves out. Remember, life is just a wave.